What are the true signs of enlightenment? I'm going to quote the Dalai Lama on this because I think it's just genius. The true signs of enlightenment are compassion and action. And I think it's a very relevant thing to say, because if you will see the path of meditation from the outside, you will think that's the most passive and selfish thing to do. I mean, you just sit and try to not suffer by means of this and that, and you just forget the world. Now you become indifferent to the world. It looks like that, but just remember why the Buddha in the first place went through that path, down that path. He was actually caring about other people. And I think it's a very important aspect of meditation. And I'm not saying that you should engage in action that is mechanic, like, oh, I'm going to be a good person if I do this. Oh, this seems to be like a good action to do, and I'm just going to do it because I will feel better with myself after doing it. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that if through the process of meditation, and that implies certain aspects like, for example, relaxation, mental stillness, the recognition of the natural state of the mind. But you could also understand reality the way it is, and that will make you understand that there is no you and the world outside. If you really understand that, then how could you be just indifferent to everything? Everything being you. Are you completely detached and disconnect from your body and your mind? No. You care about it. You care about your body, you care about your mind, and that is good. But you're also everything you see and everything you perceive. There is no boundaries between you and the rest of the world. And that's the fruition of meditation. That's not something someone tells you and you repeat and you sort of intellectually know. That is something that is a recognition we do when you go through a process that apparently looks like someone's going to be very passive. Spend a lot of time just quieting your body and your mind. So it looks like someone who doesn't care about the rest of the world and is only looking for your personal happiness through enlightenment. Once I'm enlightened, then I will see. Well, if you are successful meditating, that's really not what happens. What happens is that first thing, this understanding where you start realizing that your life is not just about yourself. That goes against our culture, basically, where we have been trained to think you care about yourself. That's a survival mechanism that we don't need to comply with. First thing, to understand that everything is the same, that already gives that edge. But on the top of that, if you really rest your mind, that refreshment on your natural awareness will actually not lead to passivity and trying to deny the world or escape from the world. It will naturally, little by little, as they actually, I think, express very well in Taoism with Wu Wei, which is non-action in action. You're just flowing with life. The same way, if you just, by any path, not just Buddhism, by any path, you just rest in what you are, then suddenly spontaneous sense of grace start overflowing through your system, through your body and your mind. And that is not the goal. That's the consequence. You have to be doing something, that doing something is like doing nothing. The meditations are sort of canceling the meditator. They're kind of traps. So, but at some point down the line, this is not something that has to be forced, but your heart has to be filled with a spontaneous joy. And what happens if you don't have a personal agenda in the world? You don't have more desires or needs. And suddenly there is joy just overflowing your heart. Very similar to what happens to a little child. You're just living surfing the thrill of life. And it's constant if you are empty from your own separation as a little person that has to strive to survive in a world. And suddenly you care about the world. Suddenly there is action that doesn't come from a separated entity that start overflowing from you. Not just that you just care about people, but you will notice that for some reason you were in the right place in the right moment. And even when you may not think, you probably have very important skills. And you may not become a great philanthropist or someone who apparently changes everything. But if you treat with love and care everyone around you all the time, starting with yourself, that's the similar that it gets from the outside to someone who is enlightened. And I'm not saying that you should adopt behavior like talking a certain way or doing good deeds. Please do that. That's nice, but that's not enlightenment. That's just education. And it's good. Please do that if you feel inspired. But the spontaneous enlightenment will lead to an overflow of love for everything, for everyone. The distinctions between the people you can't stand and the people that are your family, well, it could be both, right? But suddenly you will notice, no, everyone you are meeting is you, whether it's the stranger in the street, your boss at work. And little by little, these boundaries of division that normally justify hate start just falling apart. When your mind is calm, there's only what is and what is. It is love. It is union. And I'm not just in Buddhist words as you know, but it's your natural being. Is what you should claim. Just claim and say, I was supposed to having a good time. You were supposed to enjoy your life. And I'm not saying that challenges are not coming, but what I'm saying is that you had no desires, you have no needs, you don't have personal agenda. So suddenly you will find yourself immersed in something that is not just for yourself. You will actually find that you're not just trying to survive and get enough money, get a good career, and you think, oh, only when I have too much I will give. Well, we don't even understand what giving is. You just go around the world. But you can understand what love is. You can understand what treating someone else with love is. And you can do that today. You don't need to wait to have signs of enlightenment. You could just look around your life and appreciate, especially people. Animals too, of course, but I make an emphasis on that because we try normally to avoid this talk. We go into the abstract world of spirituality, but we don't talk about people. People in your life are reflections of yourself. That's what you understand from meditation in a practical level. When you really clearly see that, there is no hate that could come. There is no fear because there is no future. There's only peace, and this is overwhelmingly fine all the time. So you're not sitting on a chair meditating. Please do that regularly. Actually, the Dalai Lama practices. So I'm not saying you should abandon all practices, as some people say. I don't think even enlightened beings really stop practicing. The Buddha kept practicing for all his life. And so all of the other enlightened beings that we have in history did. It's not that you just stop. Your natural abiding becomes just natural all the time. You're all the time meditating. And spending some time with it is as healthy as taking a shower or eating good food. It's just a good thing to do for your mind. So please do keep sit and meditate anyway. And clean your mind. As you will clean your body from dirt. Clean your mind from confusion, from overwhelming restless activity. And just rest in the peace that is this moment.